Paulo, Manchester United lose to Spurs 2-0. First away game of the season, and our troubles on the road continue to keep happening. Continue to keep happening to us.
Man, there's not many things to say because it's all been repeated. Do you know what I mean? But I think the only thing I can say is that we're gonna have to be a lot better to even get top four this season. Like a lot better, and that's an understatement, really. Again, second game of the season against a how would we describe Tottenham? A team who don't have
a new Tottenham.
Yeah,
with a new manager, new ideas,
new
identity, which we could see what it was.
Yep, new style of football. They're still getting used to what the manager wants from them, and it seems like us today. It seemed like we were still getting used to what Ten Hag wants from us, and we've had him for over a year now, over a season, I should say. A lot of players played poorly today, man. Honestly, Anthony last season we will still give him that benefit of the doubt sort of thing, but today I feel like I've been watching him for years because he was dreadful. We want to see progression from our players, and I know Anthony's still quite young, but you see Palestri come on, and you look at a player who seems to be a lot more defined in his style of football, and who's actually younger than Anthony. And I wish I would have seen him the whole game because Anthony was probably our worst player.
What is it with Anthony? What is it?
Honestly, I look at
him. Is he just not good?
Do you know what's weird? Is like we look at players like we've mocked Wan-Bissaka, for example, for someone who being like for being a football player who at times who doesn't seem to control the ball very well. But today, Anthony, at times his head is down and he's running, and it seems like he can't control the ball. He can't dribble at all. He's an unconventional football player, but not in the best way. But we saw it today, just like last season. His decision making is just not there. He doesn't think. He's just trying to. What about that pass that we saw in the last 20 minutes where he was trying to take on a player, and I think it was might have been Mount or Bruno there, and it's like just pass the ball, like you're not doing anything.
Pass, and you knew he was just going to ignore.
And he's quite a selfish player. But like Mina said, I look at this team and I look at the front three, and I think it's an unbalanced front three, just like it is the midfield. So we're looking at problems in midfield and attack. It's almost like we had when we had Greenwood, Rashford, and Ronaldo playing, and I thought it's a bad front three. They are three players who are quite selfish, and I look at it now as well. Garnacho, he wants to take on his man. Anthony, at times, he wants to try and take on his man, but doesn't pass enough. And then you got Rashford, who's not a striker. So looking at a front three that's not balanced, they're not playing in their regular positions, and they're not
goals in it as well.
Goals, like we didn't seem like we were going to score in the second half either. First half, that's all we had. First half an hour, same like last season.
Anthony hitting the post in the second half.
That's it. Anthony hit the post. And that's it, man. We were poor.
And the types of goals that we've conceded, I mean, from doing well in the first sort of half an hour and not taking our chances to then the type of chances that we concede and then the goals we concede, the gap and the difference between them are huge.
It's poor. And you saw even in the second one, though, like you see Bruno going to the right, and then who was it? Son that passed it into. Was it Son? It was Son, right? Who passed it in? And then,
yes.
Yeah, it was Son.
Yeah.
Goes through those legs. Yeah, quite unlucky. But then where's Bruno? He goes onto the right, doesn't really have any defensive support for Odelo, and then Martinez. It just really showed what the game was about, really. It just defined our whole game. And yeah, man, it's hard for me to say because it's still second game of the season. I don't want to act like we've seen this for the whole season. It's only been 2 games, but yeah, it's tough.
Do you worry about us? Like you said, it's only 2 games.
Yeah.
But do you worry about us going forward? And
I do worry about it.
What's your biggest concern?
Well, to feel like this 2 games in just shows how much trouble we've had in the last couple of seasons under different managers, under Ralph, under Oli, and now under Ten Hag. It feels like we've been seeing this too much, and it's only the second game of the season. So it worries me going forward that we're going to have this poor mentality in the second half where we drop our heads. It's like they give up easily, and we don't want our captain to give up because Bruno today, again, his quality dropped in the second half, and his head was lost like it has been even last season, for example. He's showing attributes of someone who can't really hold his composure well, and I don't like that in our captain. I think in our captain, you need someone who stays confident, who stays strong throughout the whole game, and he's showing signs of not being that player. And I get he has that aggressiveness and that tenacity, but you also need someone who can just relax and tell everyone to calm down, and he doesn't really show that for me. No,
he doesn't. And in terms of the midfield, because everyone's talking about it, Man United are in big trouble. That midfield three ain't going to work. You can't play Mount and Bruno. Then there's this thing of, well, why did Man United go and get Mount? You know, I said my piece and defended Mount after, a poor Wolves game for the whole team. Today, I thought he showed flashes of doing quite well, actually. Again, the whole team balance was off. Wasn't just him.
Yeah.
How do you see it?
I thought the midfield played a lot better today. We went from playing a 4-1-4-1 to a 4-2-3-1. Mount was suited a lot better next to Casemiro, offering some good defensive support. He was good on the ball, good intricate passing in the first half, I think we saw, and he was very active out of possession as well. I mean, I was quite surprised that he only had 11 completed passes, that Mina said, because I felt like he was quite involved in the first half, but it shows because in the second half, we barely saw him.
The team was off, yeah.
We barely saw him as well. We barely saw Mount, but I thought the midfield was better. We actually really need Amrabat because I don't want Scott McTominay to play. I don't trust in him. Or you might have to bring Martinez into midfield and play maybe Lindelof. That's also another option.
Once yet.
He hasn't done that once, but that's another option because you need that stability in midfield. He's a defensive-minded player in Martinez with attributes of good attacking input into the game as well. So I think there needs to be some thought process there. But I thought the midfield is better. Still not quite balanced enough. But we need to see some good decision making.